Hi,
Hello,
everybody. I'm Joseph Goodman. I've been practicing that line all day.
and I'm Brendan LaSalle. And thanks everyone for coming and tuning in to Empire Sports One. We're super glad to have everybody here. And thanks everyone for tuning in and for hanging out in the chat and being a part of the Kickstarter. How you doing, Joseph?
Pretty good. I'm just hot. It's like hot these days. I think this global warming thing is really happening.
It is,
How
and it's
about you?
gross.
How you doing? It is.
The same, and it's I'm at I'm at the point where I don't like leave the house after about 7 a.m. and I don't go out back out until after about 9, like when it starts to cool down. Because
No, my dad's neighbors now get up at 6:30 a.m. to take their walk for the day.
yeah, me
like
too.
it's like
Yeah,
it's pretty hot.
yeah, it's gross out there. So take it seriously, folks, and vote for people who take it seriously. So what else?
Yeah,
What
sure.
else? What else can we do? So, but we're not here about that tonight. Tonight we're here about, of course, the XCrawl Kickstarter, and it's been we've unlocked a lot of great stretch goals. How do you feel like it's been doing, Joseph?
Oh, it's doing great. I mean, how about that, Brendan? People love XCrawl. Isn't that gratifying? Like,
It really is
cool.
gratifying. It's great. I remember at one point being like, is this too weird? Like, is this just too weird?
Oh, dude,
But
it totally is too weird. But I mean, that's why we like it. Like,
I suppose so, man. I suppose so. Well, I couldn't be more excited to get here and share it with everybody. Again, like big thanks. We've unlocked a lot of new stretch goals, which is fantastic, and I'm super excited about that.
Well, and Brendan, I think, for you, you did prior versions of XCrawl, along the way. Like, as you've said, you've been working on this version for 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. It's just really nice to see the response, all the enthusiasm, all the fans who love it. And us like, clearing stretch goals is like a Kickstarter, like, I don't know, cliche at this point, but it means for you guys as backers, you get more stuff, like that's the cool part. You're going to get a box or a book that's full of more things. And the people who pledge later will say, hey, where'd you get that cool version? And you'll say, I pledged on Kickstarter. So it's good that way. Like, you're getting a lot of cool stuff.
It is, and we've unlocked a lot of the new stretch goals now. So we're going to have some bonus content for the that are going to be going along to all of the backers. Some new rooms. We're going to do Dungeon Crawl Classics versions of some of the classic XCrawl rooms, which I couldn't be more excited about.
And I'm trying to. I forgot to open my Twitch stream, so I'm going to pretend somebody just said something in the chat because I forgot to actually open it. But that's a great comment, Jimmy. Let's tell you about those stretch goals.
Here, all right, ask away. You ask, and I'll talk about stretch goals. We do it like that.
I'm chatting to myself right now. Like, it's kind of like my own private. Once I get my
Julian Bernick says, "Hey, what about those stretch goals?" Well, I'm glad you asked, Julian.
I'm glad you asked. That's a good question. So because what I realized, Brendan, we talked about or I guess you and Julian on the last show talked about the new stretch goals, but we didn't talk about Max 16 or some of the prior stretch goals.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about we should go back to
start with the X shirt cannon. I mean, just because that's a cool idea, and I was there when you and Mike were like brainstorming that one. So
that is Mike's idea. So we're going to take it's the classic sport arena T-shirt cannon that you might have seen at an event where they're blasting T-shirts into the audience. Always fun, but now ours is actually a magic item in the vein of that thing that you will be able to fire at your opponent and wrap them up and sort of put them in an involuntary straitjacket. I guess all straitjackets are involuntary.
Yeah, they're not usually.
Yeah,
not the ones I've worn.
It'll be a like a situation like a spell where the higher you roll, like the more effective it is, the longer it lasts, the more people you can get, and then you can also be able to put your whatever logo you want on the t-shirts that you force onto your opponents, which can add to your fame. So that was a Mike Curtis original, and thank you, Michael. That was hilarious, and I love that. And it's it's cool to see everyone sort of like wanting to see the things that they love or find amusing in sports culture, celebrity culture, and everything else, and seeing an analog to that in XCrawl. I'm super gratified to see that. Like, people are getting the vibe.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
And then I feel like we talked about I Can't Believe It's Not Fireball and the Roxy Cola Spear on one of the
we did.
But we didn't talk Max 16 or Magic Lantern.
No, we sure didn't.
Those.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Magic Lantern is going to be a new spell. I think a lot of the times you have that problem in the all adventurers have it. You have to have one hand for the weapon and one hand for the potion or whatever it is. You got to be like always carrying something and having it at the ready. So who has the light source and who's going to deal with that and what happens when we have to get into a fight? And so the Magic Lantern is going to be an adventurer's best friend for going into dark places. It will follow you around like a kitty and puppy, I guess is what it is. I guess a kitty, my cats don't follow. But so it'll follow you around like a puppy of the thing. And at low levels, it will just light your way. But at higher levels, it can blind, but also like, actually shoot beams of energy down at your opponents. It'll be like your own personal tripod mounted automatic gun that's going to follow you around through a dungeon and put the hurt on somebody. So I'm excited about that one. That's one that was actually one that I wound up leaving out of the core book. I don't remember why. It was just like I wanted to. I do remember what my goal was to have like the numbers of the spells be the same as like a die equivalent. So there's 21st level spells, 16 second level spells. So maybe it just didn't fit in with a die restriction. But for whatever reason, I was one of the ones that I wanted to include in the core rules and then had to leave out. So
we could have gone the other way and made a new die. I think Impact Dice could do it. Do we need a 21-sider?
Yeah, could we do that? That'd be okay, Joe. That'd be great. I'd love to see
Well, he's working on getting them molds. I think he did anyway, this is a total aside, but it was really cool when I discovered the D7 years ago and then blah, blah. Yeah. He's now got like a 19-sider and it's like math has come a long way since Luzaki figured out the 100-sider, it's crazy.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the idea of, because obviously you can do that with a die roller. You can make a die roller do whatever you want to.
Yeah, it's true.
But I love the idea of imagine that's your curse, the 19-sider die that oh, you can't ever roll a crit. You can never roll a crit, So
that's actually pretty good.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. So,
wait, so I have a comment on Magic Lantern. This is
sure.
Totally unrelated from a gaming perspective, but I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago. Have you guys heard about these incredibly bright flashlights that you use for self-defense?
I have. Yeah, absolutely.
They're so bright, they apparently it's more effective than pepper spray. People cannot open their eyes and look at you. And even in the daytime. And it's I never heard of this, but somebody was saying they have this now for home defense.
Oh yeah. They'll make you sick. You can get them. You can get them where they'll flash and they're super distracting and you can't make out what's going on, so they're also great for breakdancing. You can put them under the background and then, show your moves off or whatever, you know what I mean? So you're
going to demo that at Gen Con, right?
Always, every year, every convention, you only have to ask me to breakdance to get me to breakdance at a show. So.
Brendan's always at his freshest Sunday morning at 7 a.m. So maybe that should be our breakdance competition.
Down, hop, hop, yeah, yeah. That would be, there's actual proof. It was at Save Against Fear a couple of years ago. They were saying, "Oh, come on, breakdance for us." I'm like, "Oh, I can't do it. There's no cardboard here." And someone went and found some, so I actually did some moves. And there's video of it. So
yeah, I feel like that was the con in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or something.
It's
in a shopping mall and James Walls lives near it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, James is the one who recorded it.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds good. That's really funny. All right, so I have a visitor. Do you want to wave to everybody?
Hello.
Okay.
There's a handsome young man.
All right, buddy. Yeah, so I'm trying to work, buddy. I know I am invisible, but you're invisible. All right, so we'll keep going. Forgot to lock the door. All right, so tell us about some more stretch goals. All right, dude, you want to go look at your iPad? Yeah. All right, we'll talk stretch goals now.
All right.
Brendan, carry the show. I'm distracted.
Absolutely. So the next one is going to be this one's actually special to my heart. The Max 16 is actually full name of that Max 16, his full name is actually Max 16 characters. He is the spirit of gaming, and he is in the Mutant Crawl Classics universe. He shows up in the Seeking the Posthumans, which is a 0-level funnel for MCC. So he's a patron in that lives inside of a video game that has been cast out and needs your help to return to it. So as all patron level beings, he can stretch out his consciousness across multiple universes. So he is looking for new gaming challenges. So a lot of his abilities are going to look like video game abilities. He is going to be the one that delivers power-ups, extra lives, backup characters, and even glitches that can help you out in a thing. You know what I mean? Some of your enemies will just disappear for a couple of rounds, because they just stop tracking for a moment. So it's going to be sort of like taking that video game power and like letting his followers do that. But he also has a very dangerous secret agenda that he will be asking the blasters that become his agents to help him work out with. So proceed with caution, gamers. But it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be great fun to revisit that character and to have him. I love that. What is the point to having all of these BCC compatible worlds if you don't have crossovers? You know what I'm saying?
No, only my head is showing. See?
Okay,
I know, right?
I'm gonna give him a chance to be on the camera. Piercy,
can you guys hear us now?
Hi, Pierce. Yes. How you doing, Pierce?
Want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
All right. What do you want to
Hi,
tell
Pierce. Look how handsome. Look how handsome.
Legend of Slime.
Legend of Slime. And you want to say anything about Legend of Slime?
I'm on the part 903.
Yeah.
And you also do lots of roll game.
Oh, wow. That's
And
cool.
the Aqua level.
I love the camera is tracking him perfectly. Oh, it's terrifying.
All right. Now, I have to go talk to some of the grown-ups. Is it okay if you go play in your iPad over there in that chair?
No.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. Okay. Well,
It's going to have to be, cousin. Going to have to be.
okay. You found my gongs. All right. Enough.
This is the best show ever.
sorry, yeah. Oh man, summer vacation.
Oh, it's fantastic. Pierce is a good buddy. He's a good guy. So.
All right, Max 16 sounds awesome. But
Yeah.
just to clarify, those of you watching the show, we already cleared that. So this is all stuff you're already going to get in your play.
Yes, this is coming to you. Yes. So after that, we get into, there's DJ Wicked Brew after that. DJ Wicked Brew, the substitute DJ, who is the one that comes in when the other DJs are sick or need a day off or take a vacation day. And sometimes we'll just wheedle his way in to just judge a room or two inside of a thing. He's got a very complicated contract that will allow him to invade extant dungeons and bring mayhem there. So I'm really excited about Wicked Brew and about like what they are going to bring to the XCrawl universe. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And it's hard to believe we've done over $200,000, but we have. So you guys talked about
right?
Velociraptor Dance Party. Actually, I love Methadone T-Rex versus Barbecue Children. And I love how you describe it. It's both worse and I think you said it was worse and better than it sounds like on the last show.
Yeah, it is both better and worse. It is a very hard strategic concept, and it's so like when you actually I'm all against real world animal cruelty, and this would be a terrible room and an example of the excesses of XCrawl. It is not okay if you're watching this from home. It is not okay to get a Tyrannosaurus Rex addicted to a methadone-like chemical so that he will go after giant, big, child-shaped bags of barbecue chicken meat. That's wrong. Wrong. But
Very
it's
wrong.
also hilarious when you see it going in a dungeon and you have to defend these things and it's trying to gobble them up and you're in its way and he's mad. It's just, give me that all day, every day. So.
All right, hold on one sec. I have to. What's the spell? Dispel Munchkin.
Dispel Munchkin. Cast out.
Trying. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So we talked about the rest of these stretch goals, or you guys talked about it in the last show.
Yeah, we sure did. So we've gone over, but
Yeah.
there's, hopefully we'll have a big rush here at the end. Today, this is exactly halfway through the campaign today,
Oh, is it
which
exactly
is-
halfway?
Yeah,
Okay.
15, we're 15 days in. We're 15 days out to the end, which is very exciting to me. No, I got, all right. Come on. Sorry.
I know.
Joe, you
We
want to
gotta get
trade for a minute?
I know. Is that cat? Is that cat?
Yeah, that's the cat. Yes.
We got to get an office, man.
I know, right? we
With like no pets and some sort of like over 21 policy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me started. But you know what though? We'd miss him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right, so should we? I know we have other guests we want to bring on who are very patiently waiting. Should we bring them on and then launch into some of the
Yes.
other discussions, or
let's
is
do
that
it.
cool? Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
Look what we brought back with us. We have here the famous Micah, aka Judge Foxy, and of course, XCrawl designer, part of the XCrawl family design team, Julian Bernick. Julian, how are you doing?
Awesome. I'm freaking stoked. And well, I just learned something today that I think is awesome. So whenever you guys get to it, I'm going to be like, but I'm waiting.
All right, absolutely. Foxy, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. Wonderful to have you, as
Oh my God.
always.
XCrawl.
I know, right? So, okay, so since we wanted to talk about, like, how XCrawl memories and how did you get into XCrawl, Foxy? What's your origin story with it?
I think I
remember?
just heard about it existing. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, like XCrawl, that sounds cool. Like I heard the word and I was like, let me look it up. And I was like, oh, that is cool. That's really cool. I'm gonna email this guy who created it about it and say, I think my first interaction with XCrawl was I sent you an email about could a Manimal from Mutant Crawl Classics be in XCrawl?
Yeah, I remember.
And that's
Oh,
the first
wow,
thing I
that's so
ever
funny.
asked you. And I was like, is that feasible? And you're like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess anything is feasible. Which is funny, you were talking about Mutant Crawl Classics as a patron or something earlier.
Yeah.
That's
kinda made me
cool.
think of that. But yeah. Anyway, and from there I started playing XCrawl, and then now I'm still playing XCrawl, and it's epic.
Wonderful. And I kind of feel like, Julian, I feel like you and I played early on. I want to say you were in early XCrawl. Am I right?
Yeah, I met you. I briefly talked about it last week, I think, but I met you really before DCC even. And then I think I was probably like, hey, I want to play a game with that guy. So I got in the Gen Con game, in the next year or two. And then, but that was a Pathfinder game, but it was just a blast. So I think that was my first XCrawl experience by far. And that was the Dice Golem one. So I don't know I think that adventure has not been converted yet, but that was a ton of fun. So maybe someday.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think that was the Hollywood crawl, the as yet to be seen Hollywood crawl.
That sounds like great. So and I had a blast. And then when you guys put out the first few adventures for XCrawl DCC, I mean, I was already deep in DCC and I just started grabbing it. And since I like stuff that's when I say stupid, I mean STOOPID.
I hear you.
Oh, yeah.
When it just silly and over the top craziness.
Epic, perhaps?
Stupid,
that would be the epic of our generation. You, in context, you would say, I get stupid, I shoot an arrow like Cupid, I use a word that don't mean nothing. Like
radical,
right.
bad to the bone, so to speak.
Right.
See, that's one behind us, the bad of the bone. That's like
and it could mean kind of altered.
Tubular.
It could be kind of intentionally silly. It got stupid really fast, or sometimes we like to play our RPGs in a stupid manner anyway. But that so I ran Dungeon Battle Brooklyn, I think was the first one, and that was just terrific fun. So we over the top crazy, ninja attacks, Medusas in a maze, weird obstacle, like American Gladiator obstacle courses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Super proud of that one. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with that one. The
It's
first
so-
time I read, oh, go ahead.
It's so good. It's a great entry point for XCC because you get straight into, it's easy to run and it just has the perfect flavor. Judges and players can totally grok it from the word go.
Absolutely. Cool.
Brennan, I have to point out, you are a constant fountain of ideas. And you mentioning this Hollywood Crawl that's ever published, Brennan will come up with an idea, play test it 9 times out of the course of a con season, and then it just never gets published because he made up 27 other things that year and we only have room for 2 or whatever. So there's a constant series of, at any given time, if you ask him, he's got 3 to 5 adventures that he's run double-digit number of times this year to play test, and there's only room for 1 or maybe 2. It's kind of amazing. So I'm sure Hollywood Crawl is one of like 8 unpublished XCC adventures that he's bouncing around.
It's a very interesting one in that I can't find it. So I don't know. I don't know. It lived in a notebook. It's around someplace. And, I'm actually a little terrified because I put a couple of notebooks up into the charity auctions, and I have a feeling
right, you did. Dude, that's why you should never throw anything away. That's why is a good practice.
No, it just means I took pictures of all the pages. It just means I had to go through those things online. I mean,
I think I have that one. It's like the one with the dice golem.
No, that's Mayhem. Something Mayhem. It's DJ Mayhem.
Yeah.
No, the Hollywood Crawl starts off with you've got a damsel on a conveyor belt going towards a buzzsaw you have to rescue.
No, the first one I played with, the first one that I played in at Gen Con with you, Brennan, was the dice column for sure.
Okay,
that was
yeah,
like
that's
the last. I want to say, it was a 4-hour session. I think that was last
Studio City,
second to last encounter.
Yeah, I think it was called Studio City. I think there's a lot of we'll have to dig through, but there's a lot of adventures from back then. But I thank you guys. A bunch of nice stuff from the nice stuff from there. So we'll answer some questions from the chat, but before we do that, I think it's time we got to talk dice.
Oh yeah, let's talk dice.
Yeah, let's talk dice.
Yeah, Elena, can you flash the 3 different designs of dice? Brendan, tell us about the Eyes of the Eagle, like your concept for these XCrawl dice that you came up with.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to go with. They said, what kind of dice would best go with XCrawl? And I was really thinking about the Imperial Eagle of the North American Empire. I thought the Eyes of the Eagle would be a really cool one. Eagles have those really interesting colored eyes, the gold flecks and everything. So yeah, that was like what I kicked over to Impact, and what they came back with was amazing. Super happy with the way it actually looked. There are 3 sets that they made for us, and now we are going to have a vote upon them to see which one our favorite one is.
And if somebody, Elena, can you drop that in the chat, the link? You guys go into this Google poll, vote for your favorite one. I will say, I don't want to tip the results, but there is one design that it has a commanding lead. So I don't think, unless 1,000 people go on right now and vote for the other option, I think we can predict which one is going to win. But vote for your favorite design. Yeah, they all look cool. But the one that the fans like the best, we will go with, and we'll post the results probably tomorrow or the next day. Yeah. And we'll figure out what best captures the eyes of the eagle and the regal nature of XCrawl dice.
So Joseph, do you have, I'm not planning some kind of caper where we break it and steal them, but I'm wondering, do you have all the sample dice at your house right now? And are they clear, like near a window, or?
What did I take from this drawer? Yeah, I do. Here they are. Yeah. Actually, you know what? That's a good reminder. I'll bring these to Gen Con. I mean, I only need to hang on to like a couple of them. Maybe we can raffle them off or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of raffles.
Like church bingo kind of stuff, or more like
no, more like raffling off pulp novels at pubs.
Nice.
That sounds like fun too. Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's
You
awesome.
didn't raffle off the good stuff, did you? I mean, you got to keep the good stuff. Andre
someone
Norton,
got.
man, everybody's got too much of that stuff.
Somebody got Eyes of the Overworld last night.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Like the vintage cover with that like painterly look, like the
Mushroom
purplish
thing.
red. Yeah, that's cool.
awesome. Yeah, that is such a cool event. Every time I see that, I share that around because I want that event to blow up. That's really amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Cool. All right. So follow the link and go there. And if you haven't voted already, go ahead and vote for your favorite dice set. You will literally be deciding which one it will be. Like we said, there's one, turnout's been strong so far. So there's already one that's kind of in the lead, but you never know. You know what I mean? I've seen crazy things happen in, these polls before. So who knows? We could have a, 11th hour surprise is always on the table. But I love them, and thanks so much to everybody at Impact who made these happen and got them to us so quickly, because they're just cool. And like there's something about an official dice set to go with the game is like weird. You know what I mean? Like that's an official that you don't get much. So I'm very, very excited about that.
It's pretty official, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me go back. I want to answer a couple questions from the chat.
Sure.
And folks, if it scrolled by too fast and we missed your question, just pop it back in. But somebody asked for the release date for Music of the Spheres is Chaos, aka DCC number 100. So it's actually so there's several shipments to different warehouse locations worldwide, fulfilling different areas. The shipment that's going to the U.S. location is actually supposed to land by next Monday. Now, these things are always plus minus a little bit of time based on how fast it gets through customs and the port and everything. But that's how we actually closed out the backer kit this week. I think tomorrow's the deadline because it actually, amazingly, is slightly ahead of track. So we were hoping that it will be shipping. So next week is Gen Con. Hopefully it will be actually shipping the week following, or at least beginning shipping, which would be awesome. And if you're a backer, that means you'll get it maybe a week after that, depending on the postal service. And then everybody else gets it maybe a month after that when all the fulfillment's done. So getting close. Hopefully we don't have, hopefully no trucks break down. The port doesn't go on strike. UPS doesn't go on strike. Hopefully nothing happens.
Yeah, it's been some interesting times. Any more?
And there was one other one back here. Yeah, so somebody liked XCrawl. Well, several people liked XCrawl Insider, but somebody asked about one of the headlines on there, which is the current league standings. So partly we just came up with some ideas that would be cool stuff you'd want to see in this kind of magazine. But I mean, I love the idea of somehow having, because hey, Brendan, you actually put a scoring system in. I think it was maximum XCrawl, but it was too hard. It was like those Scantron tests we all took in
it was it wasn't.
Nobody wanted to repeat that memory.
It wasn't team scoring. It was actually I was trying to recapture statistics like you have in sports.
Yeah.
The one thing we really can't do well, if you're watching baseball, everyone seems to know how well this or that pitcher does on rainy days in Toronto. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they have an army of people who crunch all of these numbers. Watch Moneyball. That's one guy does it all, I think. And I wanted to recapture that, so I did create a system for that, so you could keep up with your character statistics, and it was universally the least popular thing, other than the Borrowers role playing game I tried to put out in the '90s. That was it. That was the thing that got thumbs down. It galvanized XCrawl fandom.
Foxy's interested. You might have finally found a fan.
So hold on a minute. I've been doing this thing in my games where when somebody rolls a crit, I quote a statistic during the game. Be like,
that's perfect.
He's actually smashed 37 skulls this season. Wow, that's really interesting.
And that's the best system for your statistics is just coming up with it.
Yeah, on the fly. So, that's what I've been doing.
Actually, wait, that's great. Maybe we need a random table of top 20 stats or whatever, and then it progresses. After you get one crit, then you're up to a
higher die.
Yeah. And then so eventually, like you said, Foxy, it's he's up to 97 skull smash or 12 broken femurs or whatever, so it's actually kind of cool.
So if you do a live stream XCrawl game, what you really need is two really annoying announcers.
Yeah.
To be like, well, why does Lord Hammerstrike keep using the Warhammer when the battle axe is the optimal weapon? I mean, clearly a bladed weapon is going to be okay.
No accounting for style, Jerry.
Exactly.
Here comes the messenger. Oh, that was a tough roll. I think.
Foul bolt.
Right.
So anyway, it's right now it's a placeholder that is on we're using for the cover of XCrawl Insider, but it is something that it's under discussion. We're trying to figure out. We want to really do team and division style rankings. So what's that going to look like? We're not sure yet, but it is something that's kind of on all of our minds and is discussing. Someone asked, what would XCrawl statistics be? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, somebody had a great comment in the Kickstarter too, which is they wanted to see the actual like schedule of when is the Memphis crawl, when is the Las Vegas crawl, like a schedule of the events over the course of the year, which I like the idea of somehow like providing a structure. So if people in the community want to actually play them in a certain order or whatever, and then report out on how they did. Like the trouble is it turns into a bunch of math and like maintenance and administrative stuff that like nobody wants to do. But like it's a cool concept if we can simplify it somehow,
It gets weird in that, like, okay, let's say we come up with a schedule for the year, but then like after we put that out, we think, oh, wouldn't it be really fun to do a Minnesota crawl, like what Toronto crawl or whatever, and then or we get a new writer who wants to do that, and then it's like, but I mean, it can work. It can always be like, oh, they're gonna, as a late addition to the schedule, they came up with the money and they're gonna do it. But
so what you do, you say the season is these adventures, and you tell how to score them, and you can score people for the whole season that way. And then you can compare your score. I mean, of course, people can play whatever the heck they want, but if they wanted to choose the season path, they can just do those 6 adventures in a row and then turn in their score to XCrawl@goodmangames.com and end up in the Insider, right?
Yeah, that is how that's how the initial stat system was supposed to work. And like I said, it got no love. But I get it. It was complicated. It was as complicated as it would be to keep up with stuff. Somebody asked what statistics you would keep up with. So basically, it was like every attack or spell was like hit, miss, crit, or fumble. Like, with the judge being able, like the referee being able to say, all right, that was like the referee can look and automatically knows the difference between a fumble and a miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like calling an error in baseball or whatever. So and then we had like individual ones for like, so like there was like lock and trap stats breakdown, and the system was flexible. You could actually rate anything with it as long as it had 4 things. You know what I mean? As long as it were really bad, miss, hit, really good. As long as you could judge it on that scale, there was no end to what you could come up with. But
Yeah, I like this idea because it sounds like we turn the crank and get writers to produce a lot more content. So I'm really into
Julian,
that.
we're just going to use AI.
Oh.
Ew.
I'm just kidding.
I'm too
Not
advanced.
on my watch.
Okay.
It can't copy me. I'm too spicy.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
All of us are too spicy. The whole game is too spicy for AI.
They
wouldn't know
can
how to
never be
handle
as drunk as me.
Yes.
Is that like the first line on your resume?
No, it's at the bottom. It's right on the bottom in the footer.
Okay.
Oh, that's so
I
funny.
love the idea of some sort of scoring system. And Elena, if you don't mind, show the XCrawl Insider covers. I think we have 4 that maybe we can cycle through. But that's the idea, everybody. Even if we don't get the system perfect, the idea is we want to bring that sense of like everybody being part of the same like league standings or league or just season to the mag. So even if it's not perfect, even if it's just people like writing in the stories of when they played Anaheim Crawl, here's what's happened. But something like that would be cool to get everybody on in the same universe of games.
I actually want to start like a league, an XCrawl league here in Augusta.
That's a freaking great idea. Let's just figure out the scoring / ranking. Like that's but like that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then apply it to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Make a whole culture.
Yeah. Oh, I love that piece of art so much. It hurts, y'all. I love Buddy.
Yeah.
Smile, I'll break your neck.
Yeah, and so all this stuff, guys, this is all mock-ups for the covers, but just to get, I mean, the art is actually commissioned, obviously, but the titles and subjects are all mock-ups, but you get the idea. This is what we're going for. And we do plan to hold some spots open for fan submission. So you got to obviously get the game first and play it. But, once we deliver all that and you guys have time to play it, we want to have some spots where people can send in their favorite encounters or new monsters they made up or whatever. Because I think there's probably going to be a lot of great ideas floating out there.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I'm actually like, a lot of my free, this is the problem with your Kickstarter is that you already got everything kind of in hand, but I'm already thinking, oh, we're going to have this adventure and we're going to have, this inclusion and, the one thing I'm solid on is the expansion of the gods of the NAE. I want to, I want to have breakdowns of all of the big gods and have them sort of like, listed, along with their special abilities and everything. And the special abilities, I should say, they grant their clerics, you know what I'm saying? Just like we did in the annual for the gods of DCC. So,
and you
'cause
got
that was
to
such
do
a-
at least one illegal crawl too. You've been bouncing that
Yeah.
idea around for so many years. It's so
Yes.
good. Like,
Next.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got
Tell
well,
tell everybody about the illegal crawls in case anybody hasn't heard. Like, I
Sure.
love this idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So the idea would be that outside of the regular circuit, there are people who put together these illegal crawls just for gamblers, And the idea is that since they're unsanctioned, they're completely, they're all the no holes are barred essentially, So all the things that they can't do for a regular dungeon event, like guns and hand grenades and chainsaws and actual demons, like things that would be blasphemy to have out there, are all, you know what I mean? That they can definitely find you someone to make that an element of your home dungeon. So I've had a lot of fun. I've run two different ones over time, an illegal South American crawl and then a legal one that takes place in America. And I actually ran one that was like that's the one of the gangster's daughter. In Roman times, they would celebrate special events and religious holidays with athletic contests. They would have races and wrestling and all of that. So the idea was that he wants to honor his daughter getting married, this gangster with a lot of money. So he puts on his own illegal crawl out there in the woods, in the middle of no place. And I've run this one a few times. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's it's very, 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 very much a nod to Thunderdome, and there's
That's great.
it's a lot of fun. So the illegal crawl circuit is a whole different thing that we can explore that will allow us to really, really kind of incorporate elements of the world that we only hint at or we only discuss in the adventure, but they don't typically make it to the regular season sanctioned events. So
Yeah.
I want more of that. I want to, I'm really hoping this is the opportunity to really show off the extent of the setting, all of the crazy things that we can do in this weird world that combines magic and authoritarianism and monsters and sports and celebrity culture. So
Yeah. And I love
have
these
an idea
comments in
for
the chat
one.
about about the XCrawl All-Star tournament, or just like a, those are great ideas. Yeah, Grand Slam tournament or three-pointer tournament. But anyway, sorry, go ahead, Foxy. Didn't mean to cut you off.
So I have this idea for an illegal X crawl in like the Empire's version of Chuck E. Cheese, which is called Foxy's.
of course it is. What else would you call it?
There's a Robo Foxy.
Welcome to our world of toys.
You will be destroyed. Call for initiative.
I love it, and even better if it's got actual kid crawlers. No children.
Oh, no.
No children shall be actually harmed. But yeah, so that's one of the things we can really do with XCrawl Insider. I think is sort of like shine a light on these other parts of the world and things that we haven't done so far. And if you look right behind Justin's chair there, I think that's the first issue. What it's going to look like. So basically
Nice.
more or less. So there you go.
All right. Sorry, I had to go off camera. My son
you're
too hot, and he insisted on taking off his pants. So luckily that is happening off camera, but he is now much cooler, and we have reapplied the pants, taken off his shirt. So all good. I have to share a funny child anecdote, or this is on the subject of cannibalism, which, comes up in family conversations all the time. So I was in the car last week with my two kids and my niece talking about cannibalism. And my niece explained cannibalism to my 5-year-old because she had seen a chicken eat like fried chicken leftovers once. So she said, yeah, cannibalism is like when a chicken eats another chicken, like when the same thing eats the same thing. Then my 5-year-old, whose vocabulary is still evolving, then like 10 minutes later said to my wife, Mommy, do you know what cannibalism is? It's when you eat the same thing and you poop a cannonball. And he actually thought it was cannonballism.
Cannonballism.
Then we had to clarify exactly what cannibalism is so that he wouldn't get it wrong in school and embarrass us. Anyway, he's now totally clear on the concept. All right. Anyway,
that's hilarious.
Sorry, back to our scheduled program.
All right.
All right. So we have talked about scripts. So okay. I think
In the chat, did we miss anything on XCrawl Insider or any other questions you guys have? It scrolled by pretty fast. I think we caught them all. But statistics, yeah. If we missed anything.
Look at that. All right.
But XCrawl Insider should be really cool for keeping like the community, engaged and talking and having fun playing this game. Because I love how it feels to have like, a giant pile of stuff laying, which is super fun when you support a Kickstarter. But it's even cooler when it keeps the momentum going after it all lands.
I do see a question in the chat we didn't get to. Someone asks, Eldom69 asks, is Music of the Spheres a new campaign setting or a new adventure module? It is a new adventure module. It's fantastic. I got to be a playtester in it, and also got to work on some bonus content for it. It's excellent. It really, Harley Stroke, he's the gold standard. You know what I'm saying? So I recommend that very much. I just thought of another anecdote from a game that we had. So when I first ran the the Emperor's Cup in XCrawl, one of my players, my brother-in-law now, he was playing this dwarf, and his whole backstory was that like he was this grizzled veteran who's been around since the first ever XCrawl event, year of XCrawl, and he wanted to. He's finally going to the Emperor's Cup. He's going to the show. You know what I mean? It's the big one. And one of the other players asked, so did his character has been around that long? I said, does he have any records? And just kidding around off the cuff, I said, oh yeah, he's been swallowed alive by monsters and survived the most times than any other player ever. So literally in the first room, I've got a Nightshade Nightcrawler in there from old Pathfinder. His first move, I run over there and get in front of the wizard so he can't get hit. I roll a natural 20, swallow him whole. The first thing was screaming, laughing, and talking about how money's changing hands all over Vegas and defying all odds. So anyway.
No, dude, that's terrific. We totally have to do Foxy's idea for like a, making a table or something, but then also include stuff like that can only happen in like fantasy settings. Like most times incinerated, like teleported accidentally, whatever, eaten alive.
What if we actually had a ranking system for like leagues of actual play? Like, we have like the top 10 crawlers and of like everybody, or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to see the plan because it would come down to like how do you score? I mean, maybe if we made a system along the lines of the legacy system, It sounds like I don't know. It's something to discuss. This is get your wheels turning. You know what I'm saying?
So actually, this is a great segue to two things. Somebody in here asked about paid submissions, and yes, we will leave some whatever the page count is for XCrawl Insider, 32, 48, or whatever. We're gonna obviously fill it with cool stuff, but leave some pages open and invite fan submissions. And yes, it'll be paid if we accept it. So if you're out there watching this and have a brilliant idea for how to accomplish some of the things we're talking about, this could be your place. But then related to that, we will also have a third-party license for XCrawl Classics. And maybe Elena, flash that logo.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
You got the inside track as you're here on the show, so you can you're gonna find out like 2 seconds before everybody else. But so we're gonna have a third-party license. It'll work the same as the DCC and MCC licenses, except obviously the the logo is different. It's compatible with XCC, and there's a few technical differences in the license itself, but nothing material. You just change the verbiage of obviously you say compatible with XCC, blah 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 instead. So we will actually have the license itself finalized probably after Gen Con because we're all kind of busy. But if you're interested, email info@goodman-games.com now, and we'll start compiling the list so that when we have all the details finalized, we'll email it out to you guys. But same basic principle, free license. If you do a print version, we'd love to buy copies and put it in the online store. And essentially, we want to see everybody's thoughts on your own ways to expand the world of XCrawl, whether it's specific encounters, just a monster, just an NPC, or like an entire crawl of some kind, or maybe whole new ideas, whatever it might be. We love the creativity that the community comes up with, and we like to foster that as much as we can.
Yeah.
So, Julian, anything you want to ask or add to that? You seem like you have thoughts on this that have maybe been cooking for a while.
I imagine all the Bronx Beasts in an XCrawl adventure. All the crossovers. Obviously, MCC. Yeah. Just like Brendan was saying earlier, but Nowhere City and
Punjar,
all Punjar, freaking weird frontier.
Bunjar
I
crawl.
mean, what
Yeah.
everything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good.
Mhm. Yeah. I have a Bronx Beast adventure I've been working on in the background for like years now. Oh, I really like Bronx Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, so this will be your opportunity, and I personally cannot wait to see all of the cool things that third party publishers are going to come up with for XCrawl. I cannot wait to hear your ideas. I can't wait to check it all out. It's going to be pretty amazing. You know what I'm saying? So let's see it. Let's start thinking now, and details will come.
Yeah.
mhm.
Cool.
Cool.
Ugh.
Wheels turning.
I mean,
So
I know
was that-
exactly what
practically
I'm
see
going to
it.
do. I know what I'm
So
going
what
to
are
do
you
with
gonna do?
XCrawl.
You got to tell us, unless
Oh.
you don't want to give it away. I mean, if it's a secret, don't reveal it.
Obviously,
Okay. All right.
So
you
here's
got to play test it. Maybe.
So
How
here's
about
the.
that?
Okay.
I'll get this.
All
I'll
right.
get this either shot down or approved on the show. My XCrawl adventure.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well that was easy. My third party crawl is it's not an illegal crawl. It's like the XCrawl team has been screwed by their former manager, and they just go to exact their revenge on him. And it's almost more like a standard dungeon crawl. They just got to go find him, root him out, and get their money back. You know,
So it's like outside the scope of the dungeon. It's more like getting into his apartment or something, and like
yeah,
you know,
but,
like Kill Bill.
he's got bodyguards and old XCrawl paraphernalia robots, and I mean, obviously it's still a crawl.
Maybe he screwed him out of their magic items too. So even though he's a scrub, he's got some like good gear. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, it's all that stuff, right? Like he's
No
got
jerk.
he's got monsters protecting him, bodyguards, traps. It's basically
no, actually, Julia, this has potential. Like, because also like the manager, a lot of times he didn't. Nobody wants to be a manager, right? He wanted to be a crawler or maybe a
Mhm.
DJ, but he couldn't hack it or like he got injured. So like there could be a lot behind the scenes about like why he did that, what he's really after, and in the end, as they're about to stab him in the throat, does he try to negotiate something? Because what all you ever really wanted was to be a crawler. He's just disappointed with his life or whatever. Like that could be cool.
take me back, I'll get you back in the the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that could be cool.
Knocks
Well,
his face in.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've been I just think that'd be semi-illegal crawl-ish with a dash of whatever.
Crime drama.
Outside the scope. Well, one of the things I want to see more adventures that take place outside of the crawl. And one of the things that the XCrawl core book's going to have is a throwback to the old days of Goodman games. There is a chart in there of 100 ideas for adventures that'll take place outside of the XCrawl world. So that was something you used to put in a lot of your things. There's one of those in Brontosaurus Rex has one.
Yeah.
And,
I remember that a long time
Dragon
ago.
Mech,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was always just to not even to roll on it, but just to read it and to kind of like these are all if we can do this, then we can do this. So so I think that's really really cool. So I included a list like that of ideas, and I hope we'll see a lot of ideas taking place outside of the arena, and getting there into the world, and it could be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Me too.
If anybody wants to play around with some of this stuff early, I'm pretty much like open to run XCrawl, and I know a lot of this stuff. I know the inner workings. I can make it happen for you, person out there. Do you want to play test an XCrawl module? Like, just saying.
Yeah.
Once you put your Discord thing into the
I'm about to drop my start playing .games link. It's
There you go.
Femboy reads in chat. There you go. That's how
Nice.
you play XCrawl right now.
Nice, cool.
You're
So
feeling
keep it in
it.
mind, y'all. So is there anything we didn't talk about? We talked about dice. We talked about the new stuff. We talked about the third-party license. I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think we covered everything. I mean, I actually love the comments. Unionizing is hilarious. OSHA. I keep going back to the idea of the Grand Slam tournament or like the Slam Dunk tournament in the NBA, like some sort of like skills based, not quite a crawl, but like it's like your Saturday night show when the season is ended or something. Like there's just so much you can do with XCrawl. So all you folks who want to do third party stuff, like take it and run with it. Like there's just so much you can do here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really look forward to seeing what everyone does with it. You know, when you get the book, take a look through it. You know what I mean, and see what what all's out there. But you know, if it's third party stuff, go nuts. Somebody asked me about a third party thing recently that involved interdimensional Vikings, and I was like, yes, do that. Like like what? This is what Joe put it really well. You always say that the third party license is where you can really get those ideas that really stretch the concept, where you can really like go beyond the bounds of what people normally do and really come up with some very, very interesting things that you normally wouldn't have in there. And add ninjas, add whatever, what I'm saying, bronze beasts, yes.
You know, when the aliens show up and we're gonna be like, are you giving us, non-polluting power? They're like, no. Are you giving us world peace? No. Are you giving us, clean water and clean energy? No. What are you here for? Like, we love this game where you shoot each other out of cannons at the wall. That's what we love. We do the thing where 10 of you try to kill 20 orcs at the same time and invoke God. That's what they'll be like, right? So, I mean, that's out there too, right?
That's what Earthlings do best. That's why they go to Earth.
Sad but true. Sad but true. The one I want to see is like, think of Targaryen in Dying Earth. They're like, I know of another world where you can steal an artifact that will help your power, but you're going to have to start in the green room and then fight your way through and then answer a couple of trivia. You know what I mean? Like, people sneaking over from other worlds. I mean, I want to see that kind of craziness. You know what I'm saying? So
I have a Punjar campaign that I'm running right now that like one of the characters is a former XCrawler. Okay,
oh, that's cool.
But this is in the far future when XCrawl's not a thing anymore. But they're an elf, right? So they live that long.
They live that long, yeah.
So
that's cool.
It's kind of fun to do stuff like that.
And I want to see. I love it, and I want to see more of that. So I guess we're down here to the end of our time, but just huge thanks to everybody for coming out and hanging out and being a part of this. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting the XCrawl Kickstarter. It means so much to me. I can't even tell you. And I'm so excited that my wacky setting is going to be out there for everybody finally to share in and to do your own stuff with. I just can't tell you how thrilled I am that it's all getting ready to happen. So just huge thanks. And Joseph, anything else you want to add? You want to share?
Same basic thing. Thanks everybody for the support. It means a lot. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Word.
Cool.
And we'll
Guys,
see you
last
all in
words.
Indy, hopefully next week. See you in
Foxy,
Indianapolis for Gen Con.
See you in Indianapolis. Foxy, I'm doing a Discord thing tonight. I'm doing an AMA on Discord. Hold on.
Oh, I'm there. Okay.
Yeah, let me figure out where it is tonight. That's it is going to be on. It's Random Worlds. I'll be doing a Random Worlds. Yeah, here it goes. I'll put the copy in it. Let me link. Hopefully that'll work. I'm putting this into the chat, and I hope this actually works. Nope, that didn't do it. I'm so sorry. I'm such a clown sometimes with the technology. I'm getting it.
I'll be running some XCrawl at Gen Con too. Also, maybe
excellent.
some XCrawl at the Hobonomicon after hours stuff. So
Nice.
find me, and I'll probably give you a colored pog. Do I have one around here somewhere?
A colored hog?
Pog. They're like these little
Oh, pog. I thought you
ships.
said hog like HOG. Like
No.
hey, here's Pierce from the waist up.
They're like about that big, and they have
Pog,
like
yeah,
little art on them. I'll give you one, and if you have one, oh, actually, this one has art. There you go. He's a little astronaut man.
Huh.
I'll give you one of these guys,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
and then that means you get to come to the Hobonomicon game that I
Boom.
do.
Yes. So there, I'll be on the Random World Discord tonight. I think it's at 8:30. So come in and hang out.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
We got Spellburn on Friday. Check it out.
Yeah, I'll be on Spellburn on Friday.
Right?
Yeah, I'll be on
Cool.
Spellburn on Friday. Basically, you can't get rid of me this week. I'm in like an Arizona tick. So
Everywhere.
I am everywhere.
It's the best kind of tick. I gotta run. I gotta get some food. All right. See you guys later.
Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.